You found it. Welcome to Safety Pays Podcast. So, this is our weekly Toolbox topic series, and today we're going to talk a little bit about forklift certification. In the second week of January, we like to review all of our forklift certifications and make sure that our operators are trained and authorized and certified for forklift operation. So first we start reviewing our program. You should have a program that's built around OSHA 1910.178 powered industrial trucks. This program should talk about the shared responsibility between the company and the employees. The company is always responsible for ensuring that each powered industrial truck or forklift operator is competent to operate whichever equipment we assign them. They're able to do it safely and demonstrate the completion of a training course and evaluation. We also need to teach them how to respond quickly to eliminate workplace hazards, and we need to support in the elimination of workplace hazards when they're reported. Ensuring all equipment is kept in good repair, and we also need to make sure that there's safe job procedures in place so that safety is the top concern whenever forklift operation is happening. Anytime there's any significant changes to the job environment, that should be communicated to any operators and employees as well. So there's a few more responsibilities that go with forklift certification and our forklift operators. What we really need to do, though, is make sure that they're trained to recognize and control any hazards that exist. Employees, we really want to put the responsibility on them that they'll only operate equipment when they've been trained and certified, also authorized. And there's a distinct definition to each of those. Training means they've been through a program. Certified means someone says, I certify that this person's been through the program, and then authorized would be the company or the manager authorizes this specific operator to operate this specific equipment. Make sure that they understand that hazards need to be reported immediately, and accidents also need to be reported immediately. So as you're putting together training for forklift certification, you should focus on the equipment that your operators are using. It doesn't matter the frequency that they're using the equipment. Even if they only use a forklift once a month or even once a year, they still need to be certified on that equipment. So in that certification process, load capacity would be one of the things you discuss, as well as operating instructions, warnings, precautions for the type of forklift truck, the differences between different trucks, the differences between powered industrial trucks and automobiles, the controls, the instrumentation, what they do, how they work, how the engine or motor operates, depending on if it's gasoline, diesel, propane, or electric powered, how it steers, its maneuverability. It used to be that forklifts were all pretty similar in that they all steered from the rear, but with narrow L forklifts, many of them steer from the front and actually turn the load. So that's one of the things that needs to be reviewed. Any type of equipment that's different, they should be certified on that equipment. Talk about the visibility of the equipment, including the restrictions once it's loaded, and also the mast and the blind spots that creates. Talk about any attachments that are used on the forklift, how the capacity and the stability go hand in hand. A lot of times we talk about, as we certify, the stability triangle, which is basically just a triangle that you draw from the front axle to the back, the front axle being the base of the triangle. The closer the load is to the base of that triangle, the more stable the load will be, and thus the forklift. Any operating limitations, the operator's manual, how to refuel or recharge, the proper place to put that vehicle when it's refueling or recharging, any inspection or maintenance that the operator is required to perform, and any other operating instructions, warnings, precautions, or anything that would be listed in the operator's manual for that type of vehicle. One of the other things that we often overlook as we're training on forklifts is really the overall responsibility that a forklift operator has for everything that forklift does. A lot of times we'll have minor accidents and forklift operators will not think to report those because they're minor. And that would include bumping into things, knocking things over. All those are incidents and accidents that need to be recorded so that you can properly evaluate the operators that you work with. So when we talk about the environments that we're operating forklifts or powered industrial trucks or equipment in, really what we need to do is look at the surface conditions where the vehicle will be operated, the composition of the loads that are to be carried normally, and their stability. There's always going to be loads that we carry that are outside of the norm, and we address those on a load-by-load basis. Basic load manipulation, stacking and unstacking, the areas where the vehicle will not be operated due to hazardous conditions, pedestrian traffic, or other types of narrow traffic areas in where the vehicle will be operated or will not be operated. Any hazardous locations where the vehicle will be operated. Any ramps or slope surfaces that could affect the stability. Any closed environments where insufficient ventilation or poor vehicle maintenance could cause a buildup of carbon monoxide or exhaust fumes. Other potentially hazardous environmental conditions in the workplace. Any operating instructions or warnings listed in the operator's manual for the types of vehicle the employee will be trained to operate. So, this would be our annual refresher training for certified operators. The other reasons to do refresher training would be we've observed the operator operating the vehicle in an unsafe manner. They've been involved in an accident or a near miss. The operator has received an evaluation that reveals that the operator is not operating the truck safely. The operator is assigned to drive a different type of truck, or a condition in the workplace is changed in a way that could affect the safe operation of the truck. So, once an operator is certified to use the equipment, the operators need to be told that they are not to operate any equipment while under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or prescriptions. Anytime that they would be prescribed something that would cause them not to operate heavy equipment, that should be reported to a supervisor that they cannot operate a forklift that day. The other thing that needs to happen on a daily basis is a forklift inspection. Forklift operator either needs to inspect their equipment or someone needs to be assigned to inspect that equipment once every shift. Okay, if you run a forklift 24 hours a day, that would be 3 inspections in a 24-hour period, because every 8 hours we're inspecting that equipment. And then that needs to be kept on file. If you don't have a good checklist system, contact us at dcshrm.com. We have an automated checklist system which automatically can be programmed to go out to your operators on a daily basis, where they can check the equipment and have that record saved for them. Keep a maintenance log of any repairs that are done, any corrective action taken for each piece of equipment, and log that repair. Take any equipment out of service that doesn't pass the daily check until it can pass that daily check. Now, one of the big things that we have that could cause some problems in electrical forklifts is if you're ever changing those batteries out. There's actually specialized equipment that will change batteries out safely, but those batteries are usually quite heavy because they're part of the ballast system in an electric forklift. So take in mind that those need to be evaluated on a battery by battery basis so that you know exactly what you're getting into when those get removed and changed. Many facilities actually change the forklift batteries as they keep charged batteries ready to go for each new shift. So we'll just run through a few of the general safety requirements for forklift certification and operation, and then we'd invite you to reach out to us if you need anybody certified on forklifts. Our special this month in January is always a good one. We're waiving the regular fee that would go along with subscription, and we're charging a straight $1 per employee per month to get access to DCSHRM and use the training platform to send training to your individual employees. So remember, only authorized and trained personnel will operate any forklifts. Before the start of a shift, a visual inspection will be conducted. Anytime tanks are fueled, they will be fueled with the engine turned off. Operators will drive with full attention, with their hands on the wheel at all times. No horseplay. No person will ride as a passenger anywhere on the forklift. Not on the load, not on the forks, not in the passenger area, unless there is a dedicated seat with a seat belt for a rider. A forklift will not be used to elevate a platform or a pallet with persons on it, except for specifically designed work platforms that are properly secured, that have standard guardrails to protect the occupant. Never allow anyone to walk under elevated forks. Never allow a maintenance person to stand under elevated forks. Operators should avoid making jerky starts, quick turns, or sudden stops. Do not use reverse as a brake. Slow down anytime conditions change. This would include wet and slippery surfaces, icy or snowy surfaces, across aisles and locations with obstructed view. Operators entering buildings or nearing a blind corner will make their approach at a reduced speed and sound the horn. Operators give pedestrians the right-of-way at all times. Operators will remember that pedestrians will not always be aware of their movements. Never drive towards any person who is in front of a fixed object or wall. Do not overtake or pass other forklifts traveling in the same direction, especially if at intersections anywhere with a blind spot or hazardous locations. Operators should not operate with their fingers, arms, legs between the uprights of the mast or beyond the contour of the forklift. Forklift should always be placed under the load as far as possible, without the forks protruding from the other end. Never lift a load with only one fork of the forklift. No load should be moved unless it's absolutely safe and secure. Use extra care when handling long lengths of bar, stock, pipe, or any other materials. Avoid sharp or fast turns, which cause abrupt end swing. Compressed gas cylinders should be moved only on special pallets designed for the purpose of moving compressed gas cylinders. When loading or unloading trucks or trailers, make sure the brakes on the vehicle are set. The wheels of the truck are chalked. Forklifts must be safely parked when they're not in use. Controls will be neutralized. Power will be shut off, the brakes set, the key removed, and the forks left in a down position flat on the surface, not obstructing any walkways, aisles, emergency equipment, electrical equipment, etc. A forklift will not be left on an incline unless it is safely parked, and that includes the wheels being blocked. Only stable and safely arranged loads can be handled. Only loads within the rated capacity of the truck or lift may be handled. Any speed limits will be observed. Any following distances that are necessary will be observed. The powered industrial truck will be kept under the control of the operator at all times. Anytime the vision is obscured, the operator will slow down and sound the horn. If the load blocks an operator's view, the truck may be driven in reverse or in the direction that provides the best visibility. Powered industrial trucks will cross railroad tracks at a diagonal. They will not be parked any closer than 8 feet from the center of the railroad tracks. Operators will keep a clear view of the path of travel. The loaded powered industrial truck will be driven with the load uphill when driving on ramps. Dock boards and bridge plates are always properly secured and inspected before they're driven over. The forklift is not carrying a load. The operator shall travel with the forks as low as possible. When carrying a load, the load should be carried as low as possible. The fork should not be operated while the forklift is traveling. On a downgrade, the load will be to the rear or uphill, and the forks will be raised only enough to clear the surface. On an upgrade, the load will be ahead, and the forks will be raised only enough to clear the surface. Remember, certification is not a reason to operate a forklift. An operator must be certified, trained in all aspects of operation, and authorized by the company and/or manager to operate that specific equipment. And that certification and authorization can be revoked at any time for any reason. If there's any pay increase that's associated with becoming a forklift or equipment operator, that may be reversed if the operator is removed or suspended from equipment operation. Any accident or incident is always cause for a full investigation, including a drug test. Any accident or incident involving pedestrian or causing damage is cause for a drug test and even suspension or removal from equipment operation. All these policies can be set daily, weekly, monthly, annually, for your operators to understand the seriousness of operating a powered industrial equipment forklift. If you have any questions about how to get your facility so that they are certified and trained in powered industrial equipment operation, please reach out to us. As always, we can be reached at dcshrm.com, or you can reach out to us in the comments. So this has been highlights of forklift certification and training, our weekly Toolbox Topic podcast training series. Thanks so much, and have a great day.